But I wanted to move on with your. I mean, you've written so many. What is it? I think it's 25 books at the moment that you've got out. Is that correct?
It's really 28 because there are a
28.
few that aren't in business. Yeah. And if you figure that some are in the third and fourth and fifth
Yeah.
edition, I've
Okay.
done this a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
times. Yeah.
yeah. It's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite books that you've written was the Music Producer's Handbook, and there was one chapter in there
Mm.
that I found particularly interesting. It was the physics of sound. I've always found that topic interesting since day one. Like I've always been fascinated about sound and sound waves. But I wanted to ask you how I suppose you went about researching something like that. Um, did you conduct experiments yourself, or did you contact people? What was your process on actually writing that chapter? I feel like it's such a, I mean, there's so much information out there already, but for you to be able to make it incredibly understandable, because for me it's the best, I suppose the best chapter that I've read on physics of sound that is really easy to understand. Like what was your process with that? How did you go about writing that chapter?
Well, again, with that, I'm not that smart, so I go and I talk to really smart people,
Yeah, that's fair.
and they, they guide me. And I'm lucky enough. I live in Hollywood,
Yeah.
basically. So there's a lot of brilliant people around here, and I've met a lot of them over the years. Well, when I used to write for magazines, one of the things that many magazines would do is they'd say, "Okay, we want you to write this article, and here's 5 people we want you to talk to." So I would wind up interviewing these people, and I got to know a lot of them, a
Yeah.
lot of brilliant people through all
Yeah.
this. So that's the great source. I mean, there's other material, obviously, but it comes from directly from smart people.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, was there anybody that kind of stood out to you that you felt uh, was interesting? I mean, anybody who you spoke to in regards to, I suppose, the physics of sound and whatnot that you found interesting?
Well, George Oxberger's one. George, he was a legend in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Anyway, first of all, he's one of the originators of tuning a room.
Okay.
And when I first came to Hollywood, I would record at Cherokee Recording Studios, which was a really big place at the time.
Yeah.
And they had 4 rooms in there, and the owners were, what would be the word? They were
Cool.
super critical of their listening environment.
Yeah.
So at the end of every
Sorry.
project, they would pull the speakers out and change them, and they'd retune the room. Now, if the project only lasted a week, at the end of the week, they'd retune it. If it lasted 3 months, at the end of 3 months, they'd retune it. But they did it a lot, as compared to most people that will do it once,
Yep.
and
Yep.
that's it.